Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to Mindfulness Hour. Once a week, Saturday morning here in Singapore, we do 1 hour practice. We've been working on open awareness, so that's really what we're going to be doing today. I'll kind of give you a little bit of intro, walk you through what this is going to look like today, and then we'll get into our practice. Say if you've used my recordings, there's a 45-minute open awareness recording that's going to be kind of similar to what we do today. So if you find today's practice useful, you can use that recording as well. I think it's useful to have a longer seated meditation practice. Just to see what happens, see how it goes, what comes up. A little different from 1 hour of focused attention, as we will be slowly and systematically today opening our awareness to the full experience of being alive. So the way we're going to do it today is kind of similar to how this process has been unfolding in the last 2 weeks. So we start with grounding into the body, feeling sensations in the body, noticing all of so maybe starting with each area or different areas individually, to kind of wake ourselves up, feel what our body is feeling like, and then opening the door to whatever it is we're experiencing in the body. And so dwell there for a little while. I'll also give you some instruction about movement. So moving in meditation, in meditation that's intended to be still, can be, there's a process to prescribe for that, right? That to get the most out of your meditation, if you're feeling like, I have some discomfort in my right leg, and then just kind of shifting around, is not necessarily the most effective way to shift postures. In that, beside the fact that it does kind of bring us out of our mindfulness. Mindfulness really is about intention, right? And doing things intentionally, including what's going on in the mind. So it kind of brings us out of that intentional awareness. And furthermore, we may not notice how long does that last. I mean, it is kind of interesting. I think I remember as I first was starting as well, that this was a common thing, that maybe I felt like I wanted to move, I'd move, and then I find that this new posture that I'm in, it's uncomfortable as well. And so then there comes to be this constant movement with this hope that the discomfort that I feel goes away, and what it kind of tends to come up in its place is agitation. So that I realize that, actually this posture isn't comfortable, and then I shift, and then this posture is comfortable for maybe 2 minutes, and so then I need to shift again, and you find perhaps that we're shifting constantly, looking for some kind of comfort that really never shows up, and that the more that we keep shifting, the harder it is to get comfortable. So one of the invitations in this shifting of posture is, can you, instead of trying to find that comfortable posture and working so hard and shifting all these different times, instead, is it possible to just check out this posture? And what I've discovered in my practice anyway, is that when I just kind of let go and go, hey, this posture is what it is, and that there may be some degree of discomfort associated with it, that helps to be able to sustain that posture for a longer period of time. And I find that helps as well to relieve agitation that I might be feeling about the discomfort that I'm feeling in that posture. And that said, of course, the reason I give you instructions for posture changing is that I don't want you to sit there in like excruciating pain and go, well, okay, I know I'm supposed to sit here and not move, and like this isn't useful either. And I certainly I've had my times of sitting in a lot of pain, especially on retreat, and trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do. So what you're supposed to do is to be aware, and of course, I think the guiding principle of the practices that I lead is about knowing yourself. So that's why I prescribe regular practice. So the more you practice, the more you get to know yourself, the more you know what you need and what's going to work best for you. So unfortunately, this is not a one-size-fits-all practice. So you're going to learn about you, you're going to learn about what works best for you. Sometimes shifting is going to be what's required. Sometimes staying still is going to be what's required. And the more that you learn about yourself, the easier it's going to be to identify what it is that you should do, what it is that's best for you. So start with the body, and I guess I spent a long time talking about it because bodily sensations are quite important. Bodily sensations are also where emotions will begin to manifest. So as we're thinking, as thoughts show up, we may notice that slight bodily sensations accompany thoughts and emotions. And as we begin to identify those, these feelings, these physical sensations that accompany emotions become really good indicators that we can tune into in our daily lives to begin identifying emotions. And as we identify emotions, that simple awareness that I'm having an emotion is already a game changer. Can already help me to know what my wise solution to the current situation I'm facing might be. So I always like to talk about anger, right? I'm experiencing anger. I feel the symptoms of anger. I know when I'm angry, this is what I tend to do. These are the kind of mistakes that I might tend to make. And so you can kind of safeguard yourself against those. Okay, so we start with bodily sensations. I give you some instructions about movement. Then we'll bring in to our awareness sounds and the soundscape around us. And after talking through and meditating on sounds, then we'll move to mindfulness of thoughts. And then we'll bring it all together at the end of our time together and do complete open awareness. Probably have about 10 minutes or so of silence at the end for you to really work with your open awareness and see how that goes for you. So I'll do my best to give quite clear instructions, and just follow along, and at the end we'll have that space for you to work and see how it goes. And of course the main tip here is acceptance of the situation. So I think a lot of times when we have silence in a meditation, that the mind isn't necessarily doing what we're instructing it to do. So is it possible to let go of our expectations for ourselves and to just see, oh, this is me. This is the me that's here today. This is the me that's not able to focus. This is the me who has lots of intrusive thoughts. And you can use your body as an anchor, so that each time you find it, and a lot of people do find that the open awareness practice can be really full on, because there's a lot happening to us in the present moment. Lots of physical sensations. Every single nerve on your skin is giving information to you, as well as inside of your body. Your ears are constantly sending information to you. Your nose is sending information to you. Your brain is always working. So as we perhaps go, wow, this is a lot, this is overwhelming, know that you can come back to your body. Know that you can come back to whatever it is that's anchoring you in the present. And we'll establish that in the beginning of the meditation as well. Okay? All good? Ready to go? All right, let's get into our meditation posture, whatever that looks like for you today. I would encourage you to sit up straight and tall. Bring your back away from your backrest. Maybe you're sitting on a meditation cushion today. That's another way that can be helpful in having this posture of relaxation and alertness. So can I be fully awake? Not slouching. I think slouching really kind of brings our energy level down. So is it possible to sit up straight? Meditation cushion will have the hips slightly higher than the knees. This can allow for that natural curvature in the lumbar spine. So you can have a moment, if you like, to check into the lumbar spine. You can take one of your hands and place it in the small of your back. And you should feel a slight curve in the spine. So not a rounding forward, but instead this natural curve. As we sit up straight, you'll feel there's a little bit of space in the lower back. So if you like, you can roll your shoulders a few times. It can help to encourage the shoulders to relax a little bit. You can move your head back and forth, side to side. Encourage the neck to relax. So shoulders resting, hands on the knees or in the lap. If you like, you can allow your eyes to close. If you'd rather keep your eyes open, you can have a soft gaze and in front of you, perhaps a 45 degrees downward, looking at nothing in particular, just letting the gaze soften. So here I am in my posture today. So seeing if you can let go of intentional movement. And before we get started into our main practice, let's also aid in relaxation by taking a few deep breaths together. So at the end of your next exhale, let's inhale together. Inhaling, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhaling, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now letting go of intentional breathing. Just letting the body breathe all by itself. And starting to feel into the body. Let's begin by noticing where the body is touched. So as gravity pulls down on the body, where do you feel your body against the ground, against the chair, against the cushion? Do you feel your feet on the floor? Are you cross-legged? Do you feel your legs on your cushion? Just noticing now what it feels like for gravity to be pulling down on you and noticing the pressure points where your supporting surface pushes back. And can you see that that pressure isn't uniform? So what do I mean? For example, I notice that the pressure that I feel most is on my buttocks. And specifically, actually near the perineum. Find that as I'm sitting on the edge of my cushion, I can feel the place where my legs and buttocks meet. This is really kind of the area where I'm feeling the most pressure. And as I scan down my legs a little bit, I find an edge where I'm no longer on the cushion. My leg is suspended in the air. And then as I scan farther down my leg, I find my knees pressing against my cushion. And feeling that this pressure is the lightest. So right at the thighs, and then actually where my legs are getting, where we're getting closer to the knees, there's actually a little bit more pressure on the knees than there is in the thighs. So this is just how I'm sitting today. Just trying to help as you examine your own sitting posture. Can you feel the areas where pressure is greater, and can you feel as pressure tapers off? And so now let's let go of that area where the body is touched by the supporting surface and guide our attention to the abdomen, to the belly. No matter how tight your belly is today, no matter how stressed you might feel, you will notice that the belly moves when you breathe. Even if we have tightness there, can't help it. There's always a bit of movement of the belly with the breath. So as you breathe in, you may feel the belly moving away from the spine. As the abdominal wall expands, stretches out. Then as you breathe out, feeling the abdominal wall come back towards the spine. And maybe if you have discovered some tension here as you examine the abdomen, maybe through that discovery, it's possible to soften, to relax the belly a bit more. And again, we're not breathing intentionally. We're not trying to cause the breath to be any way, not deeper, not longer. Letting our bodies breathe. Letting the wisdom of this body do the breathing, as this body has been breathing for us at least 95% of the time. At least 95% of the time, we are not aware of our breath. Our body just breathes and we go about our day, trusting in our body to do this process to keep us alive. Can we just let the body breathe and observe the consequences of the breath in the body? How do you know that your abdomen is expanding? Do you feel stretching in the skin? Do you feel the movement of your t-shirt against the skin? Is there some awareness of where the belly button is in space? And how do you know? So really asking yourself that question, how do I know and my abdomen's moving right now. And now letting go of the abdomen, guiding attention to the chest. Can you feel the chest moving with the breath? The lungs expanding as you breathe in. Affects the rib cage. Are the shoulders moving at all? So let's bring our attention to the neck. To the throat. Can you feel air moving through your throat as you breathe? Maybe guiding attention into the sinuses, to the nostrils. Can you feel air moving in and out of the nostrils? So the idea here is, can I bring attention to these subtle sensations? Is it possible to feel air moving through the throat as you breathe? It's definitely happening. But can I have awareness of it? So some of us can feel it, others cannot. So not worrying whether I can or cannot tune into these subtle sensations. The act of trying is already enough. So now let's let go of the breath momentarily. Bring attention to the face. Maybe you find a bit of tension in the eyebrows or in the temples or in the muscles around the eyes. Just see if your awareness of your face and the state of the muscles in the face, just by noticing, is it possible to relax? Knowing that right now you don't need to be making any facial expression. You don't need to be smiling or angry or holding tension in the face. You can just relax and let go of whatever tension there is in the face. So as we scan down now to the shoulders, how are the shoulders feeling? Can they also be relaxed? What about the arms, the wrists, the hands? So we'll go back to the chest and the abdomen. Just being aware. Again, noticing that subtle movement with the breath. Noticing the upper back, the lower back, the pelvis, the thighs, the knees, the lower legs, the ankles, the feet. So here we are. Here is this body. Can I open my awareness to my entire body? From the crown of the head to the tips of the toes. What can I feel now? This is something interesting about the awareness, is that we can take this focused spotlight that we've been focusing on the abdomen, focusing on the nostrils, and we can expand that spotlight out so that it now includes the entirety of the body. And then you may notice one little sensation dominates awareness for a moment. And then something else. And then something else. Each time we can come back, let go of that single sensation and expand once again outwards to the entire body. And then maybe a thought comes in. A thought distracts us. So seeing if you can be aware of that thought momentarily. Then let go. Recenter ourselves back. Back to open awareness of the body itself. So if you find yourself getting lost, just choosing a single point as an anchor. Now, what was easiest for you to pay attention to a moment ago? Was it the grounding surface, the body pressing against the cushion or chair? Or was it awareness of breath at the abdomen? Maybe it was awareness of breath at the nostrils. Just knowing if I'm ever feeling lost, sensations in my body can become overwhelming. Is it possible to ground myself once again? So now some of us might be feeling bodily discomfort by this point. So when you do feel discomfort in the body, you have two options. Option one is, first, discover where is that discomfort. Be specific. Maybe it's a sensation in the lower back. Maybe it's in the buttocks. Maybe it's in one of your knees. So identify what it is that makes you want to move. And then focus your awareness there. So let go of this bodily awareness and focus your awareness on the area of the body that's uncomfortable. And just use that to investigate non-judgmentally. What am I experiencing here? Probing into this region. Is it pain? Or is it something else? Is it a label that I often use? So can I open to this sensation with curiosity, investigating? And then if after a few moments you've investigated and that discomfort is still present, deciding to move and deciding exactly how to move. So say I have discomfort in my right knee. I'm going to change my cross-legged posture. So maybe thinking about moving my left foot, moving my right foot, and then executing, actually doing those actions that I've planned to do. Step by step, mindfully, with intention, moving the body. So what we would prefer not to happen here is to mindlessly move, is to feel discomfort and just shift. Instead, stay still, be aware of the discomfort, choose a strategy to move, and then execute, make those movements. Then after the movement is complete, have another check into the body. Did my shifting of posture give me the relief that I had expected? Is that relief long-lasting? Or am I finding discomfort coming again? So, again, non-judgmentally. Not worrying about what the answer to these questions is. And then option 2. Is it possible to simply feel into that discomfort? To dwell with it, to be with it? To investigate it with curiosity, without moving. And sometimes, as we investigate curiously that discomfort, we find that it dissipates all by itself. So let's take just a few moments, silently be present with the body. And so now let's begin to release bodily awareness, or at least allow bodily awareness to be in the background as we begin to pay attention to sounds. Sounds in our room, sounds outside the room, noticing any commentary that comes along with those sounds. For example, as I open to sounds, I hear the traffic down below. My mind starts to wonder, well, why are there so many cars at 5:30 in the morning? And then I realize, oh, that's thinking, and I come back to examining raw sounds once again. Noticing the present moment nature of sounds. The sound is here for a moment, it's gone, or it shifts, it becomes something else. It doesn't matter if the sounds are pleasant or unpleasant or neutral, and we see them as they are. And now letting go of sound. As we shift attention to our thoughts, thoughts also can be present moment experiences. Thoughts are present moment experiences. They do sometimes take us out of the present. So this present moment thought goes backwards and relives something in the past. Or this present moment thought moves into the future, thinks about what might be happening. Is it possible to become aware of those thoughts? and then recenter ourselves. Maybe if it helps, come back to the anchor. Come back to that grounding point in the physical body that you found earlier. Maybe the seat, maybe the breath. And go back to thought. What's here now? And then now what's here? Maybe you just catch a fleeting glimpse of a thought. So just noticing it for a moment before letting go of it. And maybe the next thought comes. And what do these thoughts have in common, if anything? One is most likely they're related to me. And now, let's begin to open our awareness. So including all physical sensations you may feel in this moment. All sounds in the soundscape around you. All thoughts that you may be having. Not getting lost in the thought stream. Not getting lost by sounds or the brain's commentary on sounds. Not getting lost in the physical body. Being aware of what's showing up in the forefront of your awareness. And recentering yourself and seeing what's next. So we'll spend the remainder of our practice in silence. I'll close practice with 3 rings of the bell. So let's begin to let go of our open awareness, letting go of thoughts, letting go of sounds, letting go of the body as a whole, and returning our attention, focusing our attention on the anchor point, whatever that was for you. So recentering, grounding, coming back. And I'll close practice with 3 rings of the bell. All right, so feel free to move, to stretch out. As we transition out of our time of formal mindfulness practice and move into our closing. So thank you everyone. Thanks for joining in practice today. How'd it go today? What did you discover as you went through this open awareness practice today? And what I'll say as well is we'll do this one more time. So next Saturday we'll do open awareness, another long open awareness practice. And so what I'm trying to do in these longer practices of open awareness is do mostly it's basically mostly the body is the first one. The second is we're doing body but bringing in some of the other aspects. And so as we transition into our next week will be the last open awareness we do in this series. And the idea is to shorten the body a little bit more, to have more room for these more, let's say, spacious kind of pieces. So the spacious meaning that it can be, open awareness is a more advanced practice. So it can be easier for you as practitioners to feel a bit lost as you're doing these practices. So the idea is we do it a few times, each time making the more abstract piece a little bit longer. So we'll have a longer period on sounds and a longer period on thoughts, and then the ending, the longer period on raw open awareness. Laura shares, I felt a lot of pain, then sadness, then pain, then sadness, then relaxation. Thank you, Laura, for sharing. And which is a testament that meditation isn't always pleasant. And I think that's one of those myths. People go, oh, I'm going to meditate all my problems away. Well, what happens when we meditate and the problems that we're facing, instead of getting quieter, get louder? Meditation isn't about denying or pushing anything away or hoping for things to change. It is instead about this rolling out the red carpet. Welcome what's here. It's like a good guest house time. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Thanks again. Thank you, Rachel, for your donation. Jean says, I noticed how distracting. Yes. Well, this, you know what, Jean? How about you meditate in another room and you go into your meditation space. I think sometimes it's okay to have a lot of distractions, and sometimes it's good to meditate with less distraction and see the difference between these two. Kay shares, felt pain on my left shoulder, yawned a few times. I was a bit distracted by the noise of traffic at your end. Yeah, me too. I think, speaking of distractions, I'm surprised. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's Saturday morning having traffic here seems a bit puzzling. And I suppose my talking about it also brings your attention to it more. Maybe I'll do this. Speaking of changing things up, maybe I'll just turn the air conditioning on in here one day, instead of enjoying the morning breeze, just to help minimize that traffic noise. Thanks, Kay, for sharing. Thank you, Cece, for your donation. Practicing meditation is helping me better accept my emotions in life. Thank you. Barbara says, all well in Seattle. Pretty easy to stay focused today. Thanks, Barbara, for sharing. And let me say, let's see. I've been thinking about Laura says it's okay. We're all in Singapore today, like the noise. Thanks, Laura, for sharing. But again, always good for me to remember that it's good to have some dynamics in what I'm leading, so that everybody has different. Not that the leading. It could be the same every day, and maybe that's what I should do. I should do a week where I just sit in silence for each day and don't have any guidance. To test the participants, to see how that goes. So there's a time for things to be static. There's a time for things to be dynamic. But yeah, thanks, Laura. I appreciate your acceptance of how things are going today. John says, I found that allowing time to be aware of bodily sensations, etc., took the charge off them. I was able to go back to the breath more easily. Thank you, John, for sharing. And that's kind of illustrative of what I hope that you see as participants, or that you at least get a glimpse of, is that this is really what tends to happen, is that awareness helps to bring the charge off of a lot of the challenging things that we experience. That it's awareness that creates that spaciousness. Rachel says, thanks for reading Rumi's Guest House. It's been a while since I heard it, and it's good to remember. I was burgled 3 years ago and was badly traumatized by it, but as a result, I moved to a lovely apartment, and my life is actually much better. Thanks, Rachel, for sharing. Before I go, I just wanted to say, I was thinking yesterday about, what would be really amazing for me is if at some point in my life I could really change, that my livelihood, I could depend on insight time. I could depend on my meditation teaching for my livelihood. That would be really nice. And so it reminds me to go, and yesterday I was kind of thinking of this dichotomy of ego, marketing versus ego. Like how do I promote myself and promote my stuff, but also keep my ego in check? I think these are really important. It's a very important balance to bring as a meditation teacher. It's as maybe especially a mindfulness teacher. being aware of ego-serving kinds of activities and how they affect us, I think is quite important. Because I do believe really strong ego attachment severely dampens your effectiveness as a teacher. So anyway, that said, I'm trying to think, how can I encourage, how can I promote myself egolessly? So anyway, that'll be something I'll be working on in the next few months. But in the meantime, yes, thank you. 100% of your donations go to me. So one thing you can do to support me is to donate. I'd say that's the top end, right? And the maybe the most challenging for people to do. And so let me go from top end to bottom, right? And so the most, the people with the most resources can donate. If you can't donate, then another thing you could do is be an Insight Plus subscriber and listen to my premium tracks. If you aren't an Insight Plus, listen to my regular tracks. Join Ryan's Daily Mindfulness Circle. Be effective and be open. Share something in there. That helps a lot as well. You get that. Have an active circle. Have a bunch of people participating. Tell other people about this practice, that this is kind of here in this mid tier. And the really lowest is follow me on Insight Timer. And that helps me as well. So that'll help get more exposure and etc. So thank you for your support. I'm just thinking about how do I make this sustainable. I love doing this, of course, and I would love this to be my, and it doesn't have to be just Insight Timer. Got other irons in the fire, and I guess I have to say I was in London like last month, and I met June B in person. So another Insight Timer teacher, and it is inspirational. I'd say June's a real, quite different from mindfulness practice for sure. But I really, June's great. I love her energy, and I love what she brings to Insight Timer and what she brings to the world, and how like just kind of toying around with ways. How can this be the way I make my living? That's it's just a nice thing to think about, and it's a growth process. So thank you. Thanks everybody for your support. Thanks for your help, and thanks for your presence. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you, John, for your donation, your donation twice, in fact. Thank you, and do be well, everyone. And I'll be back on Tuesday. We're going to be talking about opening to emotions. So along with thoughts come emotions. These two things are not the same. They are different, and they will, your awareness of them is different, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get into Tuesday, and then we'll talk about stillness on Thursday. Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. June's having her. So yeah, there you go. If you want to also support June, you can also pop over there. I've unfortunately here at 6:15 in the morning have some stuff I've got to go do, so I won't be able to join in. I might pop over there just to say hi for a quick moment. So yeah, wish you all the best, and let's just spend a moment here to send our well wishes out to ourselves and to everybody else that's here. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching and listening right now, wherever you are, wish you all happiness and peace. May all sentient life throughout the universe be happy and peaceful. Okay. Excuse me. All the best. See you Tuesday. Bye-bye.